Hi everyone, and today I'm going to show you on how to draw a realistic, detailed, uncanny figure. So this was actually quite fun and simple to make. It is obviously a bit time consuming, but um, but I will show you on how it's done, and hopefully you'll be able to recreate one soon. So let me get it up. So over here, we start off simple by like adding the shape of the head. It's like a random type of color you could use. Like make sure the shape like resembles a human head, so it would like give you a more clearer picture. So for like the first step of the drawing, like the eyes and maybe the nose and the other features of the face, it doesn't have to be perfect nor detailed as well, at least just yet. Like you kind of need an idea. And in case if you're wondering what brushes I'm using, well, it's either like Lana Realism Blush or Lana Eye Realism Blush. I believe for this drawing I used Lana Eye Realism. So if you're wondering how the eye already looks detailed, I used Lana Eye Realism Blush, which is basically a blush meant to create realistic eyes, which the name already gives it away. I still used the same blush. I still used the same blush for the features of the face, like adding some dabs of color throughout the face, even some dark and bright textures. Do you see that small white thing around the eyes? It's like a small little detail thing, including the small shadows on it. So this is like the shadow from the eyebrow which I added. And like when adding dark colors, I still add some light or dark colors around it, which is usually like how usually light works on the skin. So this is actually a pretty good advice for it. I like to make the outline of the eye really dark, so it makes it simple but yet very effective. So, like for the face, I went back to the first layer and made it a little bit large. So, I also recommend you using mesh form, which basically like obscures the face in the way that you want it to add it by. So as you can see over here, those would be the dark outlines of the nose, and next to that is the light reflecting from it. And I think those are like called like bags under the eyes. It usually meant like sleep depravity or whatever they call it, as like lack of sleep that causes some darkness around the eyes. I do want to make the drawing a little bit creepy for fun, so if you want to add that, you could. And like, do you see this small white outline like from like the outer area of the face? Like it's like going around the face. Yeah, this part is very tricky to do it. You have to be very patient in order to achieve this form. I still wanted to add some dark dabs of paint on the face over here. And if you're wondering like how to make it more realistic, I recommend you using smudge and blowing tools. Those are also very effective as well. And over here, I know this may not look very great, but for the first step, like never ever has to be great. You just need a visual of an idea on what to do. And this seems to be like a mix of reddish and brownish colors, including like this small white color that I use for the front of the nose. I think that like dark area over here is like the nostrils, I think. And for the nose, well, pretty much not just the nose, but the overall drawing. Like, you have to use like strong outlines or something very visible to contrast on what to call it. It's to make it more easier to visualize it and to observe and study it, and you have to blur it as much as you can. If there's an area on a painting which doesn't look great, when you blur it, then maybe don't do that part and maybe blur the other areas, or if you don't want to blur it, maybe just don't blur it. So basically, I like to add dabs of dark paint on it, like dark brush strokes, and overlay it with brighter brush strokes, because like a mix of dark and bright color effects merging into together gives off that more warmest kind of warmest kind of brushstroke, which actually looks very relaxing and very detailed, which I also tend to enjoy always using that in my artworks. So a very common beginner artist mistakes, which you have to look out for, is to like don't only just use one canvas. If you're able, like not just one canvas, I mean like don't use like just one layer. If you're able to use more than one layer, I highly encourage you to do it because it will make it so much more simpler. And if you were to make like a small mistake, you could fix it within a second instead of taking minutes on it. So yeah, like please don't forget that part. So over here, I use like a smudge tool to stretch the outline of the face. Sometimes the mesh form wouldn't work out that great, or things don't get too complicating, and it doesn't like have to be too perfect. I usually use the blowing tool to blow out the harsh outlines. So over here, it's clear that I used the smudge tool, and I also added the dark and bright dabs of paint strokes around the nose. Like on like let's just say you added like a thick brush of dark line or paint. If you want to like make it look like a shadow effect or a bright effect. Like think of like the sun casting over a shadow. So first, like there would be like some dark areas around it, and the further you get away from the dark area, the brighter and brighter it gets. So think of it like this. This dark area around the nose is dark, and if you move a little bit towards to this area, it gets brighter. Like this is a little bit tricky to get just right, but I don't think it should be too complicating for long to achieve this method. And I also add the eye, which doesn't have to be perfect at first, just add the dabs of paint and blow it a lot and make sure like the eyes are like in the same axis to the other one. I also added some bags under that eyes as well. I added this little blush effect. Yeah, I like to call it blush effect because like it makes the skin has like a more variety of colors, so there's like more to look at the painting. And I added some shadow over here because the light reflects over here. It's actually a pretty simple concept. Well, when there's like some dark paint strokes like over here, like on the outline of the face, and it gets a little bit brighter the further you go down. And over here, this is like the ultimate bright spot, especially like the nose as well, because this is where the light reflects off. Do you see like those brush strokes over there? Like you could see like there are some dabs of paint added over there, and if you don't want it to look all pixelated, like I recommend you to heavily like blow it a lot to give it off that more like human photo type of feeling or visual. And over here is the eyebrow, which you like make it really dark and go like around the eyes. It would be kind of nice if I were to like add arrows to where I'm pointing out specifically, but you do know like where the eyebrow is. It's like above the eyelid, and we can like see that dark reddish and brownish color over there to its over here is like fully dark because the light cannot reach to that area but easily reaches to these areas. Oh, also forgot to mention that this drawing, well, most of my drawing uses lighting effects like added plus, vivid light, linear light, and also some burning effects. Yeah, they usually call it a burn effect because it makes the drawing look darker, more reddish type. Like you only like apply it if the specific point of the specific area of the painting is too bright, even though you could lower the capacity, but like adding that effect to a bright effect could give it like this it gives off this unique visual texture. So yeah, it's actually a pretty cool effect that I sometimes do. I don't usually always lower the capacity layers for the light effects because like it makes it like more creative and more fun to use. But if you don't like that idea, I don't mind you not performing it. And for the lips, it's actually quite easy. You just add an outline of the lips, like a darkest pinkish mixed with red color, including this black outline around it, and use some of that smudge and use some of that smudge and blowing tools. They actually work out quite well a lot, and it makes the lips more look even more detailed. As I also added the small dark shadow thing between the lips and the nose because it would look a little bit unnatural if there was like just a bright color surrounding it. And over here, like if there's like a dark area, like dark areas like cast a lot of shadow, so it spreads out a lot. And I recommend you to use like a blowing tool for this one to avoid making the portrait look too pixelated like. Gotta make that scene a little bit darker over here as well. And obviously I had to add like some like lightly dark colors around it to give off that like warm, slightly saturated feeling over here. And I also and also for the neck, it's also not hard as I just draw the outline of the neck. Maybe put that up. See, just the outline of the neck, and add some dark shadows over there because the light could not reach to that area. And also some dark effects over here because if it's dark over here, then and it has to be dark over there due to the light not being able to reach that specific area of the body. I added some of that saturated warm color. I add some blurs over there, and basically, like, I would say like the blowing blush. Actually, it's more like a tool instead of a blush. Like the blowing tool would be the most effective and important tool to creating realistic artworks because like when looking at a photo of a person, like a good quality photo of a person, like there are no pixels in the photo. It's not an old camera. It's like a modern camera. And if you want to make a realistic or semi-realistic drawing, there could be no pixels, so you have to like blow it really nicely. Or you could just, well, add some color effects and all. But overall, yeah, this is a pretty good artwork. It was definitely time consuming a bit, but I promise you that you'll have a lot of fun creating it, and I hope I see you next time. Bye.